What's good, everybody? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the REPAT podcast here on the King Ghana channel, man. And today I'm joined by, this is the first time an all African American panel. Yes, we're live here in East Africa in Kampala, but I'll let my distinguished guest introduce themselves. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah. Greetings, everyone. I hope all is well with you and your families during this time. My name is Daniel. I'm known as Ghana Dan on YouTube. You know, I'm representing out of Alabama, Atlanta, and Ghana.
All right.
All right. What up, everybody? You already know who it is. Your boy King Obatunda. I'm here and there. I've been everywhere.
All right. Where you from?
I'm from VA, man. Everybody know I'm from VA, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, that area.
All right. So you already know. So we got East Coast, down south, and the West Coast. Sacramento, California, Del Paso Heights, you know, north side of Sacramento where we do it, the biggest. And so this is the first time an all African American panel and live here in Africa. So Brother SPK was the one that put this together as far as all of us on the same podcast.
Shout out to SPK.
SPK, he be hooking it up. Mm-hmm. And then I want to talk about it because, you know, you brothers have been, you've been in Uganda just like me, but you've been here long. You know much more than I do. Yeah. And you've been going to Ghana since 2009.
Yes.
But what you see so much, at least until recently, I see a lot of single African-American women or Caribbean women, you know, in the Gambia, Tanzania, but you don't really see a lot of black men. I'd have met some here this time. Mm-hmm. Is that a myth? Is there more black women going to Africa, or is it black men, or what makes it so hard for us to set our foot in getting integrated into the African economy, African world?
You want to tackle that one?
Yeah, you hit it first.
All right. So coming from the East African perspective, because I haven't really traveled to West Africa so much, I've seen a lot of single men come here.
Okay.
And I've seen a lot of black women who come here eventually get married. Okay. All right. So I haven't really seen so many like single black women. Just usually they come here either for relationships or business or something of that nature. But if they're staying here, typically I've seen them getting married. Okay. Now with single black men, this time around recently, like this year, I've been seeing more and more come, but the few years that I've been here, it's been very slow. I've seen more women come here than I actually have men. And I don't know what the reason behind that is. I can only make assumptions, but when I find out, you know, why they're here in UG, usually it's like they're here for tourism, you know, traveling around, something of that nature, and then, you know, just trying to get a feel of East Africa versus West Africa. Right. And a lot of them that I've met have already been to Africa before, by the way. Okay. Yeah, but it's their first time being in East Africa. Okay. Oh, that's a great point. Okay. What about you, Dan?
In Ghana, it was a lot of families, a lot of retirees. I've seen my share of retired men come get married. I've seen a lot of single mothers in Ghana. Wow. They move whole family. Right. And but I'm starting to see, I met a young brother, his name is King Green. Okay. And there's a couple of twins out of Alabama that I like to give them a shout out. They making moves in Ghana. Okay. Yeah, but it's a good mixed bag in Ghana. Okay. But definitely, yeah, I've seen a lot of single mothers, probably more so, probably about 2 to 1. Okay. You know, making the moves into Africa.
Let me ask you this though, because you know, like you know the manosphere. That's how I met you. Right. Most guys are, you know, in the Colombias, the Dominican Republics of the world, Brazil. Okay. So, but what? Let me ask you, for you guys personally, what brought you to Africa instead of those places? Instead of the DR, Colombia, and Brazil, why Uganda or why Ghana?
For me, it was cultural understanding. I didn't actually want to go for like I didn't want to spend my money or waste my money that I had saved for after I got out of the Army. I didn't want to like blow it on just traveling around, you know, for something that's pointless, just like a vacation. Right. I actually wanted to go somewhere where if I'm learning something, I can apply it in some way, shape, or form. Okay. So I always wanted to tour Africa, you know, and I got out of my fear. You know, I used to have like a really bad mentality of Africa. I used to think like, you know, it's like AIDS or HIV, Ebola, stuff like that everywhere. Right. I used to think everywhere in Africa was a village. Once I started to get an understanding of Africa, that's when I started to change my mentality of things. Right. So when I made that move, it was for a cultural understanding to bridge that gap with information. Okay. That's what ultimately made me, you know, start my YouTube and everything. And try to put out that information about Africa to break down those false narratives of what's going on, what we see, the images that we see, the videos and things that we see, you know, with the hungry little babies all over the place.
Right.
I had to, you know, stop all of that. So coming out here was more for understanding, and then eventually I ended up making a lifestyle, basically. Okay. What about you?
Similar. But mine initially was I came here as a married man.
Okay.
And then, of course, as I shared with you previously, it was about I saw a lot of opportunities that were not being taken advantage of.
Okay.
So, you know, wealth building, you know, building relationships, being a bridge. But, you know, I think when it comes to the logistics, you can go to the places that you mentioned earlier. You can do that over a weekend. For that weekend, you can go to the DR and Trek and, you know, Brazil and Colombia. It takes, you have to plan a little differently to come to Africa.
Right.
You know, and to really be here, you really need to be here like 2 to 3 weeks, a month, stuff like that to get a taste of what is available here.
Can I be honest?
What's up?
I'm about to piss some people off, but that's what I do. A lot of black men, it's easier to go to, if you look at Dominican Republic and, you know, Colombia and Brazil, and you look at that's a closer proximity to the United States. So the price of the tickets are cheaper.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
And then also, you know, you could always say that you got something going on there, and, you know, there's a lot more transparency. That's what those Latin American countries do, even Ecuador. You know, if you want to be an investor there, it's much easier to do it than in Africa. So there's a lot more, you know, there's things that they have with the United States government, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But a lot of black men don't want to come to Africa. Number one, I believe that as many of them, when you come to Africa, you mentioned in our other podcast, you have to represent the African-American brand.
Right.
And they're expecting you to do something here.
Yes.
Okay. So when you come here and people start, you know, hearing your accent and they hear, you know, oh, you sound a certain way. In my opinion, you have to, you're from America, you're supposed to have money. If you're dating a woman, ain't no 50-50 over here. No. Right?
All the way, 100%.
They're expecting you to provide and do something and build resources.
Yeah.
98% of our guys cannot do that.
Right.
Even if they're talented. The United States is such that, you know, you have good jobs and education and stuff, and it's fairly easy to get by. Here, it is, and no disrespect to African countries, but you don't get a lot of help.
No.
It can be hell on earth. And the only kind of men that can really do well here are those who are builders. Not just you need to work all day. What are your soft skills?
Yes.
Can you connect with people? Do you have value? What if your industry doesn't work in America? You come here, then you're like, oh shit, what I was doing in America ain't even here.
Right.
Do you have enough money? Can you leave and come back? Can you overcome adversity? A lot of our guys are not up for that challenge.
Right.
So when they talk about Africa, it's like, oh, well, man, well, they sold us. It's a lot of excuses. But what I hear about it is like, I just don't want to go to Africa and fail.
Yeah.
You have to have an infrastructure mentality to come here.
Right.
Indeed.
You have to think in layers. You know, like one of the biggest challenges I've had is figuring out my sewer and irrigation system.
Okay.
Because everything is established in all the other countries.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, in the proximity and the logistics of just being able to go somewhere over the weekend, you can reap the benefits of that patriarchy, you know, versus over here, you know, there's an established patriarchy, but it's very raw. You have to come and put stuff in place.
Right.
It's starting with your soft skills, building relationships.
Also, a lot of times I've seen like a lot of us people, our guys and gals, they don't come out here for the right reasons. They come out here like in their mind, they have an idea of what Africa is. And then when they get here, they see the real Africa. And it's the reasons, you know, start to change, and then they start to get more complacent. I didn't know that even as a black man, I have privilege in an African country.
Right.
You understand that?
Right.
So a lot of us, we come over here with this privileged mentality. We don't have privilege where we're from,
right?
But we still have a level of privilege that Africans do not have.
Yes.
Right. So when they come over here with these mentalities, these attitudes, and they cannot adjust to how things are in Africa because we have these expectations already,
right?
And some of us don't realize it until like, you know, about 2-3 weeks in, we ready to go.
Yeah,
because it's like, man, well, what's going on over here? Everything is slow. These guys is backwards. I can't. You can't do this. You can't do that. Right. You got to abide by their rules. You got to understand their laws, their culture, how everything works in their country. And some people just can't handle it. They just can't do it.
That's an excellent point. You want to build on that?
There's nothing to add to that because everything he said was 100% correct. You know, that entitlement, not used to being in a position of authority and having a level of autonomy. Most people don't know how to handle that. They know they have there's nothing wrong with being an employee, but you don't have to have an employee mindset where you expect everything to be functional.
Right.
You know, this is a place where for dreamers who also have that grit, who's not afraid to put in that work,
right?
Who understand that the power gonna be off sometimes at the least convenient time. The power gonna be off.
Exactly.
You gotta either go get your water or have somebody bring it to you. You know, but you know the risk is actually low, but a much exponentially larger reward.
Right.
If you're willing to put in the work.
Right. Let me kind of build on because let me just say this: when I moved to Poland, in America, Atlanta, San Francisco, DC, New York, people was like running from one place to another, like on their phone, like really busy and, like just always on the move. People in America are very bright, not everybody, but like the system in America is like, you don't want to be looked at as a failure.
Right.
It's an overachieving society.
Right.
When you come to Poland or more of a socialist country like Poland, I would say Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Germany, life is a lot lax in comparison to America. Stick with what I'm saying. It's lax. You have social care, health care, stuff like that. Then in Africa, it's more laxed. Sundays, people don't move around so much.
Right.
And so the level of expectations that you see in America, which is high expectations, you have to really be somebody. And then you come into Europe, which is somewhere in the middle, in Africa, where I'm not trying to say everybody but the standard of expectations are greater in America. Because in America, if you could be somebody in Africa and then you could really be getting by and people can appreciate you. Whereas in America, you could be making $5,000 a month, somebody will call you a bum. Right. Yeah. So what happens is people who have those expectations in America, they move to Africa. I'm like, oh shit. Well, I don't have to really do a whole lot. I can still be somebody over here. And then what you start to see people is that their work output falls, right? So they're partying more. And the guys, I don't mean to be graphic, but let's just be honest. I mean, we see what the ladies are like on the street. I mean, I don't have them in Uganda, but Uganda, like Uganda is like this. You everywhere, right? Everywhere. The guys now who are entrepreneurs, they see all these beautiful women all the time, and they don't have to do as much as they used to. So they get caught up in a lot of dating, a lot of different, and you compile it such that you got like Eritrean women here, you got Rwandese here, you got Sudanese here. So most times you holler 80% of the time, you don't get a number. 4 out of time in America is like if you get 1 out of 5 is good. I mean, here you got 4 out of 5. You don't believe me? Go on Tinder. You go on Tinder, you like match. Like you can get like 50 numbers in a day.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? So a lot of black men come here and then they have all this opportunity with all of these beautiful women with these big old booties, and then it's like, well, I ain't got to do shit no more. Like this is what, and then they find themselves out of the country because they're now broke. They had too many kids or something like that. They run out of money. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
Well, that goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, people aren't coming here for the right reasons. Like, a lot of men that I've met, they get distracted very easily here. When Uganda was not going through all this COVID stuff or the curfew and everything, Uganda actually used to be like party central in East Africa. So it was a lot to do out here, and it was a lot to see and a lot of places to go. Now, a lot of these guys are coming out here when they get caught up in this lifestyle. Either they can't handle or can't adjust to what's going on, or they've gotten so distracted that they have lost their task at hand, basically. Out here, there's a lot of things where sometimes plans might not go your way. And, you might have to adjust your plan. You might have to change things. Might have to switch it up however you want. But there are some people who just ultimately give up, and they just continue partying or continue, moving around however they want. They forget exactly what it is they came here for, and they just lose sight of all those things and end up, just running wild, basically. And I actually met a gentleman recently. He kind of got caught up in the system here in UG because he lost sight of what he was doing and started messing, around with these little street girls or whatever. I ain't gonna put his business out there too much, but you really have to be careful what you're doing out here. You really can't be, you know, getting caught up and getting distracted with all this other stuff, because there's a lot of potential to, you know, maintain and do business and do many different things. But plans might not always go the way you want it to go. You understand? You have to be a problem solver out here,
right?
And if you're not a problem solver, you're gonna run into a lot of other issues, and then you're just gonna give up and then, you know, start crying and complaining about dumb stuff, basically,
and blaming Africa for all your problems.
Exactly.
Yes, and to add to that, I've seen men who are productive in the West and come to the, you know, come to Africa and become homosexuals because
basically
just because they was born in the U.S. they get a little status. Just, you know, they come to Africa just because they were born there, they get a status. They got a little money,
right?
You know, in a place where 70% of, you know, the continent, you can probably get by very well on $200 a month,
right?
So, you know, if your priorities are not in order, you're gonna find yourself just running through these women, right? You know, and they're gonna, you know, and everybody gonna have their hand out because, you know, the mama in her ear, her sister in her ear, the daddy in her ear, money. And next thing you know, you become lethargic. You know, because you came here, you lost purpose. I mean, you lost sight of your purpose, and you got caught up in women, right? Because, you know, the femininity that they exude naturally is infectious.
Oh yeah,
and you know, you come, you know, your mom was a certain kind of way, talk to you all kind of. I mean, you had a baby boy experience.
That's an awesome point.
You know, you've had all these experiences that we know happen. Right. You know, with toxic energies. Yeah. You know, with being a black man in America, you come here and get all these soft-spoken women.
Oh man.
And women that kneel to you. I don't know if they do that in
Ghana. They kneel to you. Right. Yo, they gonna cook clean and your nuts are gonna be empty. You
understand?
Yeah, I mean,
that's a fact.
Yeah, it's true. And the mama gonna make sure she does her job.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. So, and if you're not on your business, right, you'll be broke.
And this is another thing too I want to say, because when I came to Uganda the first time in 2017, it's not just like the women are just better looking, but it's the quality. So like what I'm saying is, like, a kind of chick that's like really bad, and let's say she's thick here, she might think she regular. Yeah. Whereas if she's in Atlanta or New York, she knows she the shit. But here, but here she just don't. She ain't even, because, you know, she got so much competition. Because the women's, you know, even chicks be like, you be like, oh yeah, girl, you know, you looking nice today. You're like, really? I do. And so that's the problem, because a lot of guys, what's a 10 in you know, in America might be like a 6 or 7 here, because the competition is so fierce. So guys come in and be like, wait, I can date her and her and her and her. And then you like, it's kind of, you overeat on, you know, so then you forget. But what I want to tell guys is that, you know, in Africa, you know, in most countries, I think Uganda is better than Nigeria. I heard Nigeria power go all the time, but you operating like, you have like 70% efficiency usually. So how do you improve? Because your output, and you only have 75% of the day to get things done. Then you factor in African traffic, which is, because in the continent, like in North America, in West America, in the West, we don't have to meet anybody. Call somebody. No, you want to do business with somebody? You got to meet them. FaceTime. You can do all that. Here, man, it's so slow. You got to sit down. Yeah. You got to take them to lunch, you know, have tea or whatever, go over their house. You got to bring proposals and everything like that. It's a lot of sitting down. It's a lot of slow work you got to do. It's a lot of those slow things. And that I used to have an issue that when I first came here, honestly, because I couldn't stand the fact that anytime I want to talk about business with somebody, we can't just meet up and just talk. These guys really want to make everything very formal here. And I'm not saying that in a bad way to disrespect any Ugandans. It's just something that it was a learning curve for me, basically. I'm a young man. I'm 29. I'm about to be 30 soon. So that was a really huge learning curve for me, you know, dealing with people who have a mentality like that. You know, I'm used to just getting stuff done, like quick. But some guys here, you know, you got to come to their house, sit down, have a long conversation. You got to talk about the same thing about 3 or 4 times before you actually put a plan behind it, and you get the paperwork, contracts, and all that stuff. So that was one of the things that I really had to adjust with. And I see a lot of people that I've met, a lot of brothers who come out here, not sisters, but brothers who come out here, I've seen that they have issues like that as well. Like guys will call me up and complain about, you know, how they want something to get done one day, and then 2 or 3 days later, it still ain't got worked on. You know what I'm saying? Because you're working on AP time out here, and people just they don't understand that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I have the exact same issues in Ghana. Yeah. If you want to get stuff done over there, sometimes you got to put a little extra bread in their hand to do their job. You have to give somebody a tip to do the job that they're paid for by whatever government agency that you're requiring. The other day, we can open up bank accounts right on the phone, right?
Right.
Online.
So I went to Echo Bank, probably the biggest bank in Africa.
Yeah, it's from Togo, right? I believe it started in Togo.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah.
Okay. I made my deposits.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, I don't need this bread, so I put it in there.
Right.
Took them 3 weeks to open my account. I got approved the same day.
Right.
But it took them 3 weeks to approve me to get debit card access.
Right.
Oh man, I would have lost my mind.
So I went to I just wanted to try and see if I can get a few dollars out. Like, okay, everything good, because I knew I was about to come here. I didn't want to come to Uganda and didn't have no debit card access. I go to the bank, like, hey, what's going on with my debit card? They look into it, like, oh, you're not approved yet. Like, but it's been 3 weeks.
Right.
Oh man.
And I had to bite the side of my gums and like, oh goodness. But it's the immigration. Everywhere you go is hurry up and wait, or be willing to pay to play. And I look at it as a little small tax. Like, okay, getting the same work done in the U.S. probably cost 10 times more. I'll go ahead and give them extra $10. Yeah. $15, $20 to get the job done. So I can get out their way. They happy, their pockets full. They can go take their woman out to get a big fish and but we do like to complain too much about the small, most minute things. But it requires pay. If anything, you become more of a refined man through all of these little journeys and little nuances and stuff, like you just said about. You got to go through all the formalities of meeting a person before you even get into the business aspect.
Right,
that's a fact.
That refines you as a man. Right. And so that's how I look at it. Like, okay, as long as it's not inconveniencing me and holding me up tremendously, and I can work and still be efficient. Just embrace it. Just embrace the journey as much as possible.
That's why I accept a lot of the losses that I take out here. I try not to, like I said, you have to be a problem solver out here, but you're going to take losses and you got to know how to deal with it. Yeah. So if you don't know how to accept your losses, you're going to have some functionality problems, man.
Yeah.
You're going to snap.
I just one thing, like I was, me and SBK was at a bank. We won't call it a bank, but I sent some money to myself, and the bank was asking me, so what you need this money for? and SPK was livid. He was like, what? I was like, bro, just chill, man. Just chill. Cause he was hot. Like he ended up going over to the MTN service center. But to me, I was like, yes, ma'am, I need this. Yes, yeah, can you help? Yeah, yes, sir. No, sir. And he was like, what? You know what I mean? But that's how you gotta play the game. Cause what you find out here is, let me curse. They don't give a fuck about how mad you get.
Oh, yeah, bro.
That's just going to fuck it up.
They'll still smile.
So you get mad? Well, fuck it, I ain't going to do shit for you now.
Yeah, exactly.
And you need that.
Exactly.
And I learned that real quick. Like here, sometimes you might have to be the bitch every now and then.
Yeah, man.
Like just to get to where, put my pride aside, forget I'm an American, forget whatever I think I earn in a year.
You have to humble yourself.
When you here, sometimes you're going to be their bitch.
Yeah, man.
And that's just, listen, I kind of, look, as long as I got to get what I need to get done, listen, okay, because you got to also look at it from their perspective. They have an order of operations that they're doing too. Yeah. Even if you don't like it, it's not personal because everybody got to go through that. And a lot of times as black men, a lot of us are not using, because we all have not been raised with all the father figures that we need in our life. So, we ready for violence a lot. Like, what the fuck you think is wrong with you? Like, nigga, and that don't work here.
Nope.
That work in America where, customer service, oh, sir, I'm sorry. They're not going to give you that. You start yelling.
They like to show you their power, bro.
Like, you abusing me?
I'll show you.
Okay.
I'll show
You'll wait for 4 or 5 more weeks. You know what I'm saying? And then you can get as mad as you want. And if you talk too much shit, here come the dude with the pistol.
Yeah, man.
Or the Uzi, and they'll shoot you here.
Yeah, man.
You with the quickness. So if you get out of 2 line, they get put down. Right? So you have to also know where you at. And I think a lot of black men, for them, it's kind of hard to adjust and like, okay, in this situation, man, I'm getting punked, but I kind of look at it as, listen, I'm just doing, look, let me do what I need to do to get to where I need to go. And then I'll go, you might make a friend out there at the end of the day. And the next time you go through it, they see how respectful you was about it. they might let you slide.
That's the thing about here in UG.
Very, very important.
If you have a problem, I guarantee you will make a friend out of the situation. That's just one of the things about being here in UG. But you can't be a Karen out here. I'm gonna tell you right now, that Karen shit does not work out here. You can go add, let me speak to the manager. You can ask to speak to the manager all you want. The manager will come out here and tell you the same thing that guy just told you.
Threaten to call the police. Don't do that. Don't do that.
They'll just tell you, go and get them. Go and get them.
go and get him. I will wait for you. He's my friend.
Yo, facts though. But that's what I was saying. Like, yo, if you have a problem out here, just try to look at the situation, try to, solve it the best way you can. But you more than likely make a friend out of the problem. Whoever the person you're having a problem with, you can end up having a connection. And next time you come back, you have a better situation. You'll be able to handle it much more smoothly. Right. But you got to know the systems out here. You got to know how the system works.
Let me just say one last thing too. Like in America, I was talking to Dan earlier. Your self-agency gets you a lot farther than America. Or meaning, I study hard. I'm ambitious. I'm smart. That can get you to the way America is set up. You're bright and talented, and you work hard. That's three good things to have. You smart, bright, talented, and work hard. It might not mean shit here. What I'm saying is, you need these other people, right? Like you need a community around you. In America, you don't really. Everybody needs help, but you are less likely to get help. If you're good, people notice it. If you're good here, people don't notice it as much. But here you need help. You have to depend on people for your success.
Facts.
If you're African American, you don't know Luganda, or you don't know Tree, or you don't know how the local market is going, you can try to go out there and figure it out yourself. You're going to lose every time. You need people to advise you. And when you're coming from America, where you think, if I move from Dallas to Minneapolis, well, it's going to be some cultural differences maybe, but it's not so much. It's still the States. But when you go from Sacramento to Uganda, now I need people who speak Luganda. Now I need people how to get around. I need a boater rider now. Where's Jumia app? I need all these different things. A lot of black men have not been able to trust other people to do things for them. And a lot of times your friends that help you are other men. So it's like, I'm already skeptical working with other black men as it is. Now I'm in Africa and I need people. I don't want to fuck with them niggas like that though. But and then you go ahead.
I'll say this is one thing I did want to say earlier to what you're saying. In Africa, finding information can sometimes be a lot more difficult.
Sometimes.
Or a lot of times. Because they don't actually put out a lot of information in a public domain like how we have in America. In America, Google. You can Google, Bing, or do whatever. You can find information a lot faster in the West than you do here. So you have to depend on people to a degree because their intellectual property is going to go a long way. And if you don't talk to these people, you won't know. You understand? You got to open your mouth. You got to talk to people out here.
Yeah. You got to build relationships. And that's one of the things, when you have another level of agency like that in the U.S., you don't get a chance to develop your soft skills because all you have to do is study hard, stay focused, try not to get a woman pregnant or women pregnant, little small things there.
Don't get a criminal record.
A lot of things that we control, it puts you in a position in a whole different class. Here, you need people. And most of us don't have those relationships outside of going to the club with our homies. We may drink with our homies, but really building business-centered relationships where you seeking to get to know what he has between his ears and how it can help you, and not only help you, help your homeboy who may want to get out of America, or help your mama or whoever. Most of us are not usually that well-versed in building those type of in-depth relationships.
And that's another thing too here. I hate to say this, but if you have friends out here, male friends that you're partying with, you're gonna be paying for their company. That's one thing. I don't mean to be offensive, but when you have friends you hang out with, and they're gonna be borrowing money, not paying it back. It's a good possibility. But here you have the right to pick whoever you want in the world. But here you can pick a lot of good talent, and you can build a family with guys who have something going, and you can pick to be kicking with people who don't have shit, and not all the time, but it could happen. Or you can pick around people that are doing something. That's the good thing. You can really pick your family and pick how you want things to go. But guys, listen, this has been a great episode. I hate to cut it short, but man, this is great to see 3 African American brothers here in Uganda. Any last words, guys?
Nah, that's pretty much it, you guys. Yo, I appreciate you for being on this podcast. Thanks for having me. Hope you guys love this episode.
Yeah, likewise. I appreciate you, O'Shea, and it's a pleasure meeting your brother.
Likewise.
Look forward to getting to know you better while I'm here in country.
All right. And as you know, keep it real, King Ghana forever. We out.
Peace.